Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are going to talk about a very common React interview question. What problem does React solve in front-end development? To understand this, we first need to look at how things worked before React. Before frameworks like React became popular, developers usually worked with vanilla JavaScript or libraries like jQuery. When the data in your application changed, you had to manually update the DOM. For example, imagine you have a counter. Here, every time the state changes, we have to manually update the UI. In small applications, this is fine. But in large applications, managing DOM updates manually becomes difficult, error-prone, messy. You constantly need to track what changed and what needs to be updated. This is exactly the problem React tries to solve. React introduces a simple idea. UI is a function of state. That means the UI is automatically generated based on the current state of the application. So instead of saying update this element, then update that element, we just say here is the state. React, please render the UI. For example, now when the state changes, React updates the UI automatically. We don't manually manipulate the DOM anymore. Another important concept in React is the virtual DOM. Updating the real DOM is relatively slow, so React uses a virtual representation of DOM in memory. The process works like this. React updates the virtual DOM. React compares the new virtual DOM with the previous one. React updates only the parts that changed in the real DOM. This process is called diffing. Because of this, React can update the UI efficiently and predictably. Another big advantage of React is components. Instead of building one large UI file, we break the interface into small reusable pieces. For example, navbar, sidebar, product card, user profile, footer. Each part becomes a component. Example. Then we can reuse it anywhere. This makes our code easier to manage, easier to scale, easier to reuse. React mainly solves UI complexity. It gives developers a better way to manage UI updates, organize large applications, reuse UI components. Instead of manually controlling the DOM, we describe what the UI should look like, and React handles the rest. If you want a clean interview answer, you can say, React helps developers build complex user interfaces in a simpler and more organized way. Before React, developers had to manually update the DOM, which became difficult in large applications. React solves this by using a virtual DOM for efficient update and a component-based architecture for reusable and maintainable UI. Alright, that's it for today. If you're preparing for React interviews, this is one of the fundamental questions you should definitely know. If this video helped you, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.